Hello friends, my name is Michelle Fondinauthor and I'm an author and speaker, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's message is for the Divine Feminine, and it's about committing to your Divine Masculine at 100% and not a percentage less. So this message came to me today through my readings, through my meditations, and it came to me with my own personal struggles that I'm having with my Divine Masculine. And I don't know if you guys have been feeling it too, but it's probably an indicator of imminent union, because there is like a vacuum or a void of communication. There's a vacuum of like feeling connected. It's an appearance of a separate, like even more separation, even greater separation, even greater rift. And in my particular situation, through my readings, through my meditations, it came to me, and this is why I'm bringing the message to you. It came to me that I need to commit to my Divine Masculine Twin Flame at 100%. And even though you might be sitting there thinking, you know what, I've already committed to my Divine Masculine like at 100%, and it's been that way, and it's just, he is not committing to me. He is the one that needs that level of commitment to our relationship that I have for him and the relationship. Remember that your Divine Masculine is a mirror of you, that you guys are mirrors of each other, and you guys are a reflection of each other. And so that the qualities in the relationship that your Divine Masculine is mirroring back to you is what you in effect are mirroring to him, if that makes sense. So if his level of commitment is not 100%, then that means that your level of commitment is not yet 100%. Now, that does not mean that you are not more committed in this than he is in the current moment. It means that you perhaps just need to work through any resolve you have within yourself that is in that space of doubting, is in that space of pulling back, is in that space of, maybe this is just a lot easier if I would just leave my Divine Masculine and go for another person. And maybe it would just be easier if I dated a few people before union. Maybe it would just be easier if I went out with this guy who really likes me. Conversation is super easy, and it just feels like the right thing to do because my Divine Masculine is totally ignoring me. And so we play these little mind games with ourselves with negotiations. So it's almost like we're making negotiations with the universe, saying, well, since A, B, and C is not happening, I'm just going to turn my attention over to this person or this relationship or this person in my life who's making it a whole lot easier on me than focusing on the connection. And of course, we don't want to obsessively think about the connection, and that can push your Divine Masculine away if you're just totally obsessing about it, and if you are having that like push forward energy or that scared and fear-based energy because you want to be with this person and then this person's not responding to you. And so you constantly have this notion of like, I need to do something. I need to fix something. I need to be something. I need to do something else. I need to text something. And so we have these obsessive thoughts in this relationship because it feels wrong to be separated when you're awakened. And so since it feels wrong to be separated, your mind tries to reason through things to try to make things right and make things get back into the groove of things to move forward in that particular relationship. In normal relationships, that might work, but usually it doesn't actually. This fear, this desperation, this grasping, it all tends to make someone go in the opposite direction. But equally, when you are not fully committed to somebody, that can also make them go in the opposite direction. Now, that's especially true for a twin flame connection because you guys are so spiritually connected. You're connected in the 5D. I don't even like saying 5D. It's just really weird. So in the spiritual realm, on a spiritual path, on a spiritual plane, in your souls, you guys are soulfully connected because you're twin flames. You're one soul. And so this connection is felt even stronger. And since it's felt even stronger is that when you are pulling away because you're not 100% committed to this person feels it a lot more than someone with whom you do not share this type of connection. So you need to be really, really, really careful about how much you're pulling away, how much you're entertaining thoughts about being with another person, how much you're entertaining placing conditions on the relationship when your divine masculine decides to come back, and having that anger energy and that fear energy. And you need to think about that because, as I mentioned in the last video, the urgent message for the divine feminine, and if you have not yet watched it, I'll put the link below so you can go ahead and click on that video and watch it, because that is all about unconditional love. So now we're focusing on this unconditional commitment to the divine masculine. And I really had a wake-up call this morning. Honestly, I had this wake-up call because while I thought I was 100% committed to my divine masculine, I discovered through my focus, through my meditation, through surrendering, that there was a small piece of me that was toying with the idea of not being committed. And for all the above reasons, right? For all the above reasons that, there's another person in my life who really wants to be with me. And if this person really wants to be with me, then it just might be easier. What if I give myself to my divine masculine fully? And what if he rejects me? Because unconditional love is unconditional love no matter what. That doesn't mean you choose to be with a person. It just means that you love that person unconditionally. But unconditional commitment, that is a whole other level. That's a whole other story. Unconditional commitment is, I am devoted to you and I commit to you and I commit to this relationship, and I commit fully with every cell in my body, with every fiber in my being. I commit to you and I am totally all in. I am totally committed. And that's a really scary place to be in, because what if you commit totally to your divine masculine, and what if he rejects you? And what if he doesn't want to be with you? Like, those are the thoughts that come up if you are all in, if you are 100% committed with every fiber of your being. And if you are totally in and that you let go of everybody else in your life that is a potential romantic interest, and that you just give this relationship all of your commitment in the way of a partnership. We're not talking about not having other relationships. Of course, you have friendships, you have family members, you probably have kids, or even if you don't have kids, you might have a pet. So we're not talking about letting go of other relationships. We're talking about letting go of other romantic relationships in order to be in union as one with your divine masculine. And that takes a lot of gumption. That takes a lot of courage. That takes letting go of fear completely and utterly and thoroughly, and just, it's almost insanity. It's almost insanity to say, like, I am going to commit to my divine masculine twin flame completely, even when he's not yet committed to me. And ladies and even gentlemen, and I'm not going to say, and I said, if you need to replace divine masculine with she and her pronoun, that's totally fine. I'm using the masculine pronouns just to make it easier on me so I don't have to keep switching back and forth. But that's hardcore. That's totally hardcore. That you being able to give that level of commitment and unconditional love coupled and combined together, that you're able to give that level of commitment to your divine masculine even when your divine masculine is not right in front of you and not declaring their love for you. That is hardcore. That is totally hardcore. It's like all the fears start coming in. And when those fears start coming in, you as the divine feminine, you need to just work through those fears, know that those fears are totally unfounded. If you have faith in this connection, if you have faith in this union, if you have faith in the truth of what this is, then every fiber, every cell of your being, whether it be in your body, your mind, your emotions, your persona, your soul, should be all in. Every single aspect of who you are must be all in if you believe in this. And if you're not all in, it's that some part of you doesn't really believe that this is real, or that some part of you is hesitant about wanting this. As I mentioned in my last video, that the divine feminine is always a few steps ahead of the divine masculine. And since the divine feminine is always a few steps ahead of the divine masculine, we sometimes have to take like the leap of faith, the leap of trust. We have to kind of be there first, and we have to be at the finish line before the divine masculine, because it's by our leap of faith and by our leap of trust and by the greater intuition with the divine feminine's nature, because that's a nature of the divine feminine, is to have that intuition. The divine masculine will catch up. And you just need to have faith and trust. And I need to have faith and trust too, because it is just as scary for me as it is for you guys. Totally scary. It's 100% scary. But even though I have made the commitment before in my heart space, I've made the commitment before to my divine masculine's soul that I need, I want, I cherish this relationship and this union, like every part of me. I knew by what has been happening that there must have been, and there, as of this morning, there must have been a few percentage points of me that was not all in. And a few percentage points of myself that was still rooted in another relationship, or still rooted in thoughts of maybe not committing to this at 100% because I'm not sure that he'll be committed to it at 100%. So it was kind of like treading on this thin wire, like kind of teetering back and forth, like with one foot on, one foot off, going onto the wire, and not like fully committing to like standing with 2 feet on this very thin wire right now, because that's really what it feels like. It feels unsteady. It doesn't feel stable yet. It feels a little bit scary. And I just need to trust that it will be there and it'll grow, and that it's by virtue of my full-on commitment that my divine masculine will come back faster. Because remember, your divine masculine feels if you're not fully committed. Your divine masculine feels if you're judging him. Your divine masculine feels if you are putting your attention on another person. That is the nature of this connection, which is so wild and weird and can be super joyful and can be magical. But you also just need to be really, really careful about that level of commitment. What I would suggest to you, and this is actually what I did today that totally helped me, is I wrote a letter to my divine masculine's higher self. So I wrote a letter to my divine masculine's higher self, and just like opening up and telling my divine masculine's higher self how much I am committed to him and to the relationship. And I know it sounds crazy and zany, but believe me, you know this by now. Everything in this journey seems crazy and like out of this world, and you've already thought a billion times that you're insane. I get it. I totally get it. Me too. So write that letter. I mean, if you can find some quiet time, some meditation time, just put on some meditation music and just sit down and write that letter to your divine masculine's higher self. And if you're ready to be fully committed, then you write that letter of commitment. And believe me, your divine masculine will get it in the etheric field. Your divine masculine's soul will get it. And even if the delivery is not happening instantaneously, then just rest assured that your divine masculine will eventually get it. And if it's not an instantaneous delivery, it's usually just because the divine masculine, as I mentioned, is a few steps behind. And that's just, there's a little bit of a time lag in that. In the real world, in the 3D world, if you will. I'm not going to say the 5D is not real, the 4D is not real, and the realms beyond are not real, because they're absolutely real. It's just that in this area of bound by time and space, sometimes there is a little bit of lag time when it comes to spiritual things being manifested in the physical. That's your homework for this week, guys. And keep the faith. And I'm saying that, again, for myself as much as I'm saying it for you, that if you are revisiting a dark night of the soul, that it's a sign that union is very close. And don't take that as a moment of defeat. Take it as a last burst of immense growth so that union will come a little easier because you've done all of your work. Ponder that. Ponder the commitment level and how committed you are to your divine masculine. And if that means breaking off other relationships that are romantic or semi-romantic, then you might need to do that. If that means not calling back that person who is continually asking you out for dates, it might mean that. It might mean just cutting that person off. And just here's what I try to think is that, how would I act if my divine masculine and I were already married? How would I act? How would I be? How would my conversation be? If I was fully committed and fully loyal and trustworthy, and that my divine masculine could totally trust me without a shadow of a doubt, how would my behavior be? What would my behavior look like? And just go with that. Go with that thought of, if I were already married to my divine masculine, what level of commitment would that take? And what would my behavior look like? And maybe that'll help you this week. Maybe that'll help you figure it out and see where you're at in regards to where you need to be. So thank you so much for joining me. Please subscribe to my channel below. Share this video with other twin flame souls. And thank you for pledging your support on Patreon, www.patreon.com/Michelle S. Fondin. And I'll see you in the next video.